Hi, everybody. Good evening, good afternoon, and good day, wherever you're joining us from. Welcome to your show, your favorite show, The Niger We Want. This is a place where we talk about the current affairs, what's going on in Nigeria, and even around the world. So, we want to welcome you for joining us on this wonderful, wonderful Friday. Thank God it's Friday. Mr. Wale Olaito, you're welcome to the show.
Dr. Vicky Folaji, it's good to be back. It's been a while,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
we had a small break.
Yes,
So
we
it's
had an
good to
unplanned break,
unplanned break.
totally
So
unplanned. Mm,
there's a way the system just has a way of slowing people down. So, but we're
exactly.
happy to be back.
Yeah. So our viewers, they've been asking questions. What's going on? What happened? We waited, and so we just had to say to them, sorry, we had um, we had a little break. So, but we're back. We're back. Mr. Elvis Unwachuku Igbokweno.
Bueno.
It's good to
Hi,
see.
Wale. How
Elvis,
you?
how are you? Good to see you, brother.
Good to see you too, bro. After such a long break, I think
That's
about
good.
6 weeks for me now. But look, at the end of the day, it's great to be back. Yeah, we missed the show and can't wait to get it underway. Um,
Definitely.
and with that, I say good evening, viewers.
Mm.
Looking forward to a great show tonight.
Yeah, the our viewers, they've missed you. They've asked what's going on with Elvis. We haven't seen Mr. Elvis around. What's going on? So they'll be happy to see you back. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
it had to
Mr.
it had to do with my sojourn to Nigeria.
Yes.
I came back, felt a bit ill, but thank God, fingers crossed, I'm back on track now.
Yeah. And the 2G that you had in Nigeria prevented you from joining us. You didn't hear that. You're frozen now. All right. So, Mr. Wale Olaiton, we usually go through this first part of or the first segment of the show, which is all about what is trending. Shall we get onto that? Can you hear me? You
Yeah, I
froze,
While
think
it's
Elvis. You
frozen.
froze
I don't
before.
know. There is a bit of
Oh,
a
Yeah,
break
there's a
on
yeah, it's
at my
lagging.
end.
Yes. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, we'll go through the first segment before we get into the show itself. So, what is trending? What is trending for you? What is trending for me? I There's this trending topic, and it's been on for months and months. Most Nigerians they're talking about it, which is to do with an actor, Yul Edochie. It's not current affairs, I know, but it stands to it's a wake up call for every one of us, for us women to pray for our husbands, for the men to be more careful. Um, I don't know the details of their story, but their issue or their story is trending, and there's a lot of tragedy happening there. Um, And somebody shared a video of when the wife, the um, original wife, the first wife, May, and him were in their car singing, and they looked so happy together. So what happened? What happened? And as I was pondering on that, um, a thought came to mind that that is something that you call um, when someone goes to working at a construction company and the person had an injury there, is that workplace injury? I
correct.
will, I will, I'll categorize this more like sorry, Mr. Wale Light. So now your smile made me want to smile. It's not
Oh,
But I would look at it as more of a workplace injury. It works well. I mean, it works with all these people. And if a woman has this strong mind that this is what I want, some of them will go to any extent to get it. And that extent can include juju, all this stuff. I don't know. Some people said she had done whatever, whatever. But at the end of the day, how do we protect our family? Because now it's not just yo, it's his whole family. Even his son died through all this storm, and we don't even know what else is still coming. And the name of the wife is being dragged, as the one who is doing bad stuff to Yol, and that's why these bad things are happening. It's just, I see it as a workplace injury. Whatever your partner is doing, your husband is doing, pray for him, cover him, so that demonic people will not touch him, will not um, do stuff. And the stuff can be physical, can be whatever. But we need to do more by covering ourselves, by praying for ourselves, so that we're not exposing our families to things like this. It's quite disheartening, and I can imagine the damage this is doing to the other kids, to the other children in that relationship, to the trauma that those kids and the first wife may be going through at this time in their lives. It's just something that I wanted to touch on during our what is trending today. So, Mr. Wale Olaito, because of that, you're smart. Let's
yeah.
hear
Look,
you. What's
you
trending?
you made mention to workplace injury, and something came to my mind because earlier in the week I read about something like workplace injury that happened in I think Democratic Republic of Congo. I hope I'm right. So there you have a minister of education who is married based on the information on the news report. And then there is a deputy education minister as well, a female, another married woman. And then one way or the other, the minister of education impregnated the deputy minister of education. And obviously there's probe going on. And he actually labeled it as workplace injury, like workplace accident. Yeah, so that was what came to my mind in your intro, and I was just he actually called it the workplace accident. So that was that was I thought that was really funny and the coincidence. So on the Edochie story, I think it's been going on for some times. Look, it's obviously a very tricky area to go to in terms of marriages and their issues, especially the celebrities that a lot of things they put on a lot of show, for the public. Yeah, I think it's the nature of their jobs to put on a show, and because of that, it is difficult to know what they are going through in their relationships or in their marriages. So until something like this, happens, then become a topic for for the whole country to talk about. So that's just the
Mm.
way I see it. I don't know their personal stories. I don't know what they are going through, and I think um, I will also be very careful not to draw any kind of nexus between the events of the marriage or the second wife and the death of his teenager, which is by every means to lose a child or to lose a son, 16 years old or whatever, is a great tragedy to any family. So that is just the way I would just try to respond to that. It is one of those topics that you don't really know the background information about what has really happened. And is an Igbo man is a man of culture. Yeah, we know his dad. His dad is a celebrated, an high chief. So if the son of the high chief decides to get a second wife, big deal. So that's just, that's just the way I say it, culturally and in terms of celebrities and their issues. I'll stop there.
Egbon Yemi Shojimu, it's good to see you again. You're welcome. Thank God for your life. We really praise God that you are able to join us. Welcome. We can't hear you. We, we still can't hear you.
So can
Oh, yes. Now we can hear you a bit. Egbon?
okay. Can you hear me clearly now?
Yes, we can hear you. Yeah.
Okay. Well, it's good to be back. Thank you so much. Thanks for your concern. Thanks for checking on me. Thanks for your prayers. And I've missed the team. I really missed the team.
We missed you too.
So
We missed you.
I had my adrenaline pumped up when I knew it was just a few hours to this show. And I was really looking forward to it. So it's good to be back. It's good to be back.
Welcome. Welcome.
Good
So
to
I'll
have you
still,
back, Egbon.
yeah, I'll still get back to you. I
Great.
want to check something with you about the workplace injury that we mentioned. But before we get back to you, I want Mr. Elvis to update us about what is trending for him.
All right. I will give you my update, but still on workplace injury. Um, I know in Victoria here we've got work safe. In the
Yeah.
instances that both yourself and Wale have mentioned, um, for our viewers, work safe in Victoria here is a sort of insurance that the employer takes onto, just to protect themselves against, damages that the employer will claim when they get injured at the workplace. So if one gets injured, that insurance takes care of their payments until they recover, or even if it's for life. Now, in the instances that both of you mentioned, I'm not sure that the equivalence of WorkSafe exists in these places. I can only advocate that given the risk that people run in these climes, it will be ideal and safe to also have the equivalence of workplace in these instances, so that when something like this occurs, at least people can get compensation, even if it's pregnancy or whatever you call it, second wife or whatever. Anyway, what's trending for me is the story of a 6-year-old girl who was stabbed in Kano. The young girl, the woman who perpetrated the act had accused the father of the little girl, of encouraging her husband to get a second wife, and therefore she got infuriated and lured the little girl into an uncompleted building and stabbed her multiple times, and of course left her for dead. Um, Somehow, the little girl gathered some strength and was able to scream out, and people tried to rescue her. As we speak, she's battling for life in the hospital. Um, a few days before then, it was said the woman had a pestle, waving it around in their compound, threatening to kill anybody, kill somebody should her husband take a second wife. The husband, in her defense anyway, has come up with the story that she's mentally deranged. As we speak, she's on the run. So it's quite an unfortunate incident. In fact, I saw the picture of the little girl. It was a really gory one, with a knife sticking from one side of her stomach to the other. So a very unfortunate story. Really sad.
Wow. Horrible things are happening. May God save us all.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing. And Egbon, you're welcome back once more. We talked about workplace injury. This is your forte. This is your industry. So, any contributions, any thought around? I call it workplace injury because when you work closely like that with people, and if you're not careful, if your guard is down, anything can happen. And I know because this is what you do and you've been doing for many decades. You may be able to enlighten us on this. I mean,
Well, I
play
see
us.
you're looking a little, yeah, I see you're looking a little bit lost there. This has got to do with Pete Edochie and the story making the rounds.
Your Ledoche
Oh, you're sorry.
and Judy and May.
So what happened has been, according to Dr. Vicky, classified as a workplace injury.
Well, I checked the word injury, and is really not pointing to the scenario we have on our hands. Talking about work safe, well, but when emotions are involved, when personal emotions are involved, injury in this case would probably be referring to alteration of the physique as a result of whatever must have happened. I don't know whether excuses can be found for this. More so when there are two adults involved in such scenarios. So I would just want to leave it as it is. I'm playing safe here. This is a workplace for me right now, so I want to work safe.
You don't want to be injured.
Egbon, you are being diplomatic.
I want to work safe. I would rather want to just move on to what is trending for me.
All right, let's talk about what's trending.
If you permit me. It's a bit on the very unfortunate side, and this has to do with happenings, the developments in the plateau, where armed gangs are attacking defenseless villagers, killing them, destroying properties, and lives are being lost out there on the plateau. It's a very sad thing that we keep talking about. Justice will be done, perpetrators will be brought to book. But unfortunately, it's like the books are blank. The books are blank. Where are the perpetrators? Why is this still happening? But what is sadder for me is the fact that we are just moving on. Like it's just it's another occurrence. We're just moving on. It is not a major issue even in our media. Okay, maybe they print a bit scream about this, but it ain't there. Check our electronic media. Nobody's talking about it. Everybody's talking about election petition tribunal. It's talking about inauguration. And lives are still being lost. There were traders passing through Jos, going to Ondo, and they were attacked. Those who were killed were killed. Those who were lucky to escape were lucky to have escaped. And then, I mean, poor villagers, harmless villagers, soft targets. That's what they're going for. And somebody's just sitting pretty somewhere and telling you that if after leaving office, if the life is harassed or whatever, he will just, the Nigerians would come to his aid. Of course, we know that it's the question of going back home. But I don't know. We are almost getting to be I don't want to use the word bloodthirsty, but we're almost immune to the pains and sufferings
of others.
Deaths all over. it is sad. It is sad, and it's just a few days to inauguration. It is very, very sad. I feel pain. Of course, the other one has to do with Yami. Uh, that's a different topic entirely, about the guy who said a few things about Nigerians out there to the BBC. And actually, the Plateau thing weighs heavily on my mind. Maybe I should just leave Tiami. Those who are screaming about it are screaming about it. Thanks.
I think the TMU one is a show on its own that we will need to explore. Um, did he do the right thing? Did he do the wrong thing? We all know what's going down, so it's not. But um, is it right for that to be talked about? That's the question here. But we'll look into that, and I hope our producer is listening. Let's explore that aspect because some are really, really angry about that. And
Sorry, Doc. You
yes,
know what comes to my mind is what the Yorubas say. See, ojú akátá bá léwó, kì í ṣe ẹnu adìẹ ló yẹ kán ti gbọ́. That's sorry, Elvis. I will probably interpret that later.
maybe he can even interpret it for you. You don't even know Egbo.
That is true. So I shouldn't. That is very true. That is very true.
So yeah, it's a topic that needs to be looked into because yes, so many are now impacted about because of it. But we need to actually spend the whole session on that. So let's thank you, Egmo, for sharing what's trending for you. Mr. Wale Olaito, our intercontinental moderator, let's get into it. We've spent too much time
thank
on
you very much. Okay. Thank you, Dr. Vicky. And to our viewers, if you just joining us, you are on our number one show, the Nigeria We Want. On the show tonight, we'll be discussing the incoming administration in Nigeria with a specific topic on missed grill of expectations as Nigerians await inauguration of Tinubu as president. That's we set an agenda for the incoming president. Courtesy of our producer, Mr. Labi, I quickly run through a small introduction to our topic. On Monday, 29th of May, all eyes will be on Nigeria as a new president will be inaugurated to take over from President Muhammadu Buhari, who will be completing his tenure after 8 years. After a divisive general election that saw the emergence of Bola Ahmed Tinubu of the All Progressive Congress (APC) as the president-elect, ahead of Atiku Abubakar of the People's Democratic Party (PDP), Peter Obi of the Labour Party, and 15 other presidential candidates. All is now set for his inauguration as the 16th president of Nigeria, Africa's most populous country and largest economy. Though preparations are in top gear for the inauguration, the expectations of Nigerians regarding the incoming, those of excitement, anticipation, and indifference. While some Nigerians are excited and full of hope for the incoming administration of Tinubu, others still bitter about the outcome of the elections and the performance of the outgoing government. So, why the nature of expectations regarding the inauguration of a new government in Nigeria? So I go straight to our panelists. I'll give you 2 minutes each to respond to the first question. Why are Nigerians having different expectations about the incoming president? I will start from Mr. Elvis Nwachukwu.
Yeah, well, I will say, was the question in relation to the expectations? So what was the question? Can you clarify for me?
Okay, so the question was, why is having different expectations about the incoming president?
Yeah, of course, Nigeria has a population of over 210 million people as at date, which with each group um, having different inclinations. You've got, a wide array of political parties um, in Nigeria, with each one also um, having their ideologies. Um, it is not, it's expected that people will have different expectations, and that's why they will belong to different groups, and then have their leanings to one area or the other. I would say for those who are of the APC extraction, of course, there'll be positive expectations there, because that party has been declared the winner of the elections, and um, Tinubu announced as the president-elect. Now, for various reasons, those who are on the other side of the divide will naturally have, different expectations as well. Again, this goes down to the performance of the outgoing administration, which across board, a lot of people will feel, they haven't, the government hasn't done so well in a lot of areas. I mean, uh, what is it called? Unemployment is at very high levels. The rate of poverty hasn't reduced in any way. Yes, there has been some mileage and in the areas of in infrastructure, but how does that translate to putting food on people's tables, clothes on their backs, or giving them jobs to do? So for those who think the government has done well, of course, yes, it's kudos to the outgoing government, and also um, having those high expectations when it comes to the incoming government. And then for those who feel this government hasn't done so well, in their opinion, it should be: is this going to be a continuation of the suffering that the people are going through right now? The state of insecurity, which has worried every single one of us. So yeah, it's only natural that people will have different expectations, and if, as far as I'm concerned, that's not strange. Somebody said something. I was watching a program one time where someone said, he's often inundated with the comments around Igbos are not, don't usually agree. And he goes, if everyone agrees, if every single person from the Igbo extraction agrees on the same issue, just means they're not thinking. So, if I translate that to what we're experiencing or what we're seeing in the country currently, it would just mean that if everyone was to be on one side, it just means Nigerians are not thinking. So you'll have those who are for and those who are against. So, yeah, that'll be my response in that regard.
Thank you, Elvis. So I'll go to Dr. Vicky. Said,
All right.
why are Nigerians having different expectations about the incoming president?
Okay. Just like Elvis explained, I think that's the main reason. Um, the same party is the same party that had been there for the last 8 years. Is still the same party, different leaders, right? But still the same party. Majority of Nigerians are quite disappointed in the one that is the leader that is leaving, but same party, still on that same umbrella. So the fear of, hey, is this going to be continuation of our suffering, of Nigerians suffering? So it's unknown, but it has planted so much fear. And when the outgoing president came in, there was so much expectations. Oh, the belief that he was going to eradicate poverty, that he was going to do things differently, that he was going to curb corruption, all those things that people So many people, and including you, Mr. Wale Olaito. I remember that time really well. Most of us did, we were like, yeah, he's going to do it differently. Unfortunately, that didn't happen because there were things that we forgot, that, okay, whatever is past winnings may have been, were those winnings because of him or because of somebody else in the scene at that time. We didn't look at that, but we just expected so much. So we Nigerians are quite disappointed because almost every area that you look, we could see big F. Um, Maybe there are a few things that were done better, but most things that could have made people's lives easier weren't looked into. And people they were disappointed. So now, still under the same umbrella, somebody else is coming in. Is it going to be the same thing? So people are divided. But some people that actually worked with the incoming president before, or that have seen him in action before, that have that belief and trust in him, that yeah, maybe it could have, yes, it's under the same umbrella, but he's coming in because and we know he can do this because he's shown that leadership attitude in the past. So he's got the history to show for him being here now, and we know he can do it because leadership is not just the leader there. Leadership of a country includes all those people that you surround yourself with, all those people who you are able to delegate to, that you are able to trust that whether you're there or not, the job will be done. And this guy over the years had proven that he has been able to do some things right. Yeah, maybe it's not perfect. Those are the different discussions going around. So yes, um, it's not gonna be straightforward, like people just accept him like that. He's got to show, he's got to prove himself to be worthy of their trust, especially when the mistrust and the thought that him being the nominated one or the chosen one isn't really um clear, with all the news and stories being said about the election. So there's bound to be fear of, or that thought that here we go again.
Okay, oh, thank you, Dr. Vicky. Before I come to Egbon, I'll quickly just respond to a few things that Dr. Vicky, mentioned. Specifically, she mentioned about, the kind of support President Buhari had, when he was, campaigning in 2015. So yeah, it is a record. I supported him at the time, and I canvassed because honestly, we couldn't have had anything worse than what we had under Jonathan. The last years of Jonathan was so bad that anyone could have thought anyone else could have done a different job. So on that basis, yeah, I supported Buhari in the first coming in 2015 because anything we want to talk about security, economy, everything was there. But from the way I look at politics and from my approach, it is also when I was campaigning in 20, even midway around 2016, 2017, I've left the trade because I could see the direction and I could see, there's something wasn't going on well. So I looked in a different direction. And it is on record that I didn't support his presidency in 2019. I jumped on, take it back in the wagon. I remember we hosted, Omoyele Showore here
Of course, yeah.
in
In Melbourne.
2019. Just to put that in record. Yeah. Yeah. So I'll go to Mr. Yemisho Dibunda for his own take on these different views and expectations about the incoming Tinubu administration.
I'm not going to allow Wale, I'm not going to let you go easily, let you off easily with what you just
Okay, please.
Yeah, I won't.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, let me make my point. Wale, let me make my point. And it's not about Wale, it's about Nigerians in diaspora generally. And that's the honest truth. Because 2015, everybody out there was jumping up and down, saying, here comes the Messiah. Here comes Mr. Anti-corruption, the corruption fighter. Here comes Blair. Everybody decided, everybody ignored even words of wisdom from those who knew. Those who knew this man. Those who knew about PTF. Those who knew the role Idiagbon played as against whoever else. Everybody out there felt, to hell with any other person, is got to be this man. And wise words here were screaming, caution, caution, and caution. Anyway, fast forward, 2023, this is where we found ourselves. But he was not the only one on that list, on that bill. He wasn't. Jonathan was not the only one on that bill. But everybody conveniently ignored any other person and went for this. However, let's leave that. Let me come to your question. Nigerians will naturally have these different expectations. I mean, when you wake up to a news that your Minister for Education had no clue about administration of education in any form before he was made a minister, and he happens to be the longest serving member of that cabinet as at today, you will have different expectations. When you realize the fact that Nigerians had to wait for endless months for a cabinet list to come out, you were of course expecting an A team. If a coach went on training and recruitment for endless months for the league, and he kept telling you, just hold on, I'm going for the best, only for that same team that it comes up to be trashed all over the place by third-rated team, by the top team, and you will have different expectations. If you have a president that probably spent God knows what percentage of his tenure outside the country, seeking for medical, going after medicals, he will have different expectations. Now I'll tell you, Nigerians, say what you will, are cautious. I don't want to use the word worried about the health of the president-elect, based on this past experience that we had. I'll be the first one to hope and pray for good health for him, because years back, when this man was that agile and all that, he performed wonders. And if you found people probably not voting for him this time, this happens to be one of the factors. It's on a note of caution. I felt glad when after the elections, I saw a different Tinubu. Slightly, let me use that word, slightly different Tinubu. But we need to be honest with ourselves. We hope and pray is strong enough to run this thing, because Nigeria is not a tea party. There is a lot to be done. There is a lot to be done. I am trying not to repeat what my other colleagues have said. I mean, it's just natural in a country with this kind of population. You will have different angles to reactions to things. But frankly, we want and we need a president that will sit at his desk and get the job done. I mean, imagine this. If you take security out from the list, the next thing you want to think of is education, for God's sake. And here's a man confessing that he didn't know jack. And that was the man, this same man was the one recommending list of ministers to Mr. President. It was his assistant when he was at PTF or whatever. And at this time, Nigeria, no wonder we had so much crisis in that sector. And we are not out of the woods yet. Nigerians will have different expectations. And we hope our expectations are met. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr.
Yeah, Wale, I'll just, can I just have 30 seconds?
The luxury of time. Do you have any questions? Yes, just
not less than 30 seconds to make a quick rebuttal. Egbon is hot, but I need to put Egbon in his right place too. Egbon has actually blamed those of us in diaspora.
No. You are part of the blame. You are part of the blame.
No. Yeah, and I'm not
all yours.
I'm not unaccepting of the blame. Egbon, listen.
Good.
So, look, well, you wouldn't really blame people per se for throwing their weights behind what is it called, President Buhari, giving his antecedents, his war against indiscipline and all of that, whipping people into line, fighting against drugs and all of that shenanigan at that time. However, as much as people in diaspora have, part of the blame, I just want to remind you that it's actually those of you who are on ground that did the voting. You actually voted this guy in. I just needed to point that out.
I agree, Elvis. Elvis, I agree. But the fact remains that, listen, you guys are the ones sending money home. Fine. Sending money home means your words are respected. You're talking about a high population of illiterates here. When you speak out there, people believe you. People expect that you know better. You are influencers, whether you like it or not.
Yeah, okay. But I will also take you on there. So if you believe in the tenet of democracy, so at the end of the day, we're talking about democracy here. If you believe in the fundamental tenet of democracy, it's about people deciding who governs them. So Nigerians, in their wisdom, they had a lot of candidates. They voted, and then they voted the Buhari. You can't blame anyone for that. You can't blame, unless you're saying that our people there, they can't make their own, so the only people they can't. And I'm not so.
You guys are still dancing around in backwards. So you are still dancing around in backwards. 2015. Back home, we have our blame. For God's sake, back home, we have our blame.
You actually went to the ballot to vote.
Back home, we have our blame.
You could have voted the other way.
Hello, back home, we have our blame. But I just don't want you to sit there and think you are not part of it. We have our problems. We have our blames.
We accept our blame. You said we sent money. Yes.
That is all. And we have our blames. I'm not absolving us. I am not absolving us. I am not absolving us. I just want you to know that you are part of the problem.
Who actually did the voting? How many of us?
I agree. I just want you to know that you are part of the problem.
Egbon, no doubt. Yes, okay, so I am one of those.
We are.
Egbon, I'm ready for you this night. I'm telling you.
Let's take it on. Let's take it on.
We are all part of the problem. Let's move on. We are all part of the problems, because in 2019 again, Nigerians had opportunity again for what, in their wisdom, they still voted for this man. So that's a different topic on its own. So they had a
That's it.
choice in 2015.
That
They
is
voted for him. They
contentious.
saw what
That is
happened in 4
contentious.
years.
That is contentious. But let's just leave it at that. That is very contentious. That Nigerians voted again. That is contentious.
Producer, this should be a topic, a whole topic for another day. Those at home who voted and Nigerians in diaspora who sent money home, who is to blame for this outgoing government that has done abysmally? So who's to blame? Make a note.
Okay, so
let's move on.
I moved to Dr. Vicky now. I moved to Dr. Vicky now, just to calm things a bit now. Dr. Vicky, one of the concerns of the disputed outcome of elections, one of the concerns is the disputed outcome of the last elections, with some calling for the inauguration to be put on hold. Is there anything wrong with moving on with governance in the country? Should people wait until all the court matters have been resolved before they proceed with inauguration? What is your take on that, Dr. Vicky?
I think they should just move on. We should just move on. There's no reason why we should wait. If something needs to change down the line, then we change it. But for now, I think the inauguration should just go on, and Bola Tinubu to take his rightful place. And if there are evidences, there are, the law will take its course.
And nature
it's just as simple as that.
Yeah, nature abhors a vacuum, and there's no provision in our constitution for the inauguration not to go ahead. No provision in the constitution.
Governors have been sworn in.
Exactly.
Only for courts to upturn, and they've been removed.
Exactly.
We can't wait.
If
we wait for the next 6 months, and the court eventually says yes, he is the winner, are we now just to start at that point?
Yeah,
No. We really should. It should go on, and the court processes should go on as well.
Okay, thank you. So I'll to Mr. Onwashiku now. Most youths are bitter about the situation in the country. What do you think Tinubu should do to address this and give them a sense of belonging? So for now, I want us to start setting agenda for the incoming president, regardless of the court matters that are out there. So, youth agenda, what do you think, Mr. President, should do in terms of priority in addressing some of the issues concerning young people, unemployment, and all other issues related to young people, Mr. Nwachukwu?
The incoming government should start seriously gearing up towards ensuring that youths are engaged positively by creating employment opportunities for them. I mean, it's worrisome, a situation where a child, a parent trains a child from nursery, primary, secondary school up to university. That child graduates, goes to youth service, comes back home, there's no job. He's still looking for food in his mother's kitchen. No youth will be happy with such a scenario. I've actually seen people go through the university system and then come back to learning sewing or being a mechanic or learning one trade or the other. So the government has a lot of job to do in that area, and also creating opportunities for these young ones to ascend to positions of authority. Like when I was little, I used to hear that I was a leader of tomorrow. Those names I used to hear back in the days when I was a kid are still the leaders I see till today. So those opportunities need to be created, a level playing field for, youths to become gainfully employed objectively. I think that will assuage some of the feelings that they're having right now. If you check the rate of unemployment, I haven't got the figures right here, but I was listening to a program the other day. It's skyrocketed so high that if it's not attended to, might lead to dire consequences worse than we already have in Nigeria, because there's a saying that the idle mind is the devil's workshop. So the mind needs to be busy. The mind needs to be occupied, and that's why we're seeing a lot of crime these days. Some of them, when they are caught, you know, you listen to their expressions. You know, these guys actually, or girls, are people who have passed through the educational system and shouldn't be in the space where they find themselves, you know, at the moment. So, you know, you can't push a man to the wall and, you know, expect him to open that wall and keep moving. At some point, they need to react, and when they react, is, you know, you see some negativities there. So there's a lot of work for the government to do in that area.
Mm-hmm.
Thank
Well,
you,
are you
Mr. Washiko. And I think,
sorry, I thought you were.
Can you hear me now? Yeah.
Yeah, I can.
Yeah, I think I was for a few seconds. Thank you, Mr. Washiko. And I think, you know, if there's anything, any politicians, if they've learned anything at all, is that it's not going to be business as usual. If you want to go by the outcome of the last election, let's work. As you can, you have that number. You know that, you know, the red flags are there, and I hope they are smart enough to recognize that if Peter Obi of Labour Party could come from, you know, from nowhere and challenge the status quo and nearly got away with a win, then they should know that they need, as a matter of urgency, address some issues. So I'll go to Mr. Shotimu now. Earlier, you made a reference to Tinubu, which was a reflection of the man he was many years, and the man that is, you know, now, and is also, those concerns are there around his, you know, age, and that has been linked to ability to perform, and also we've seen in the last few months he's been on various overseas trips. Should Nigerians be about the incoming presidents, especially around his age, and the capacity linked to his age, and or
yes, Nigerians should be worried. I am worried, and but we are hanging on to hope. We have a system that is shrouded in I'm trying to get the right word. There's too many mysterious things about us, about governance, that should be out there in the open. Information in the open. Say, right? There is so much that should be out there for us to know, so that we know what we are dealing with. But they shroud these things. They make it look like it's something outside the world, right? We will be worried. We had a president, an outgoing president, that really wasn't there. That really wasn't there. When you had, I mean, a military general turned civilian president, you would have a bit of confidence in leadership. I'll tell you, with the falls of Obasanjo, give it to him. He was present. He was present. He was in charge. He had his faults, but he was in charge. You could relate. But when leadership is found out to other people to assume and all that, it is very tricky. Now, Tinubu has, from his records, has the knack of picking very, very good and brilliant hands to handle certain things. I sincerely hope the issue of politics The issue of pressure will not deter him from repeating that, because he needs all the good hands he can get. He needs all the best of the technocrats he can get, home and abroad, to get this job done. He's taking on a sick child. So he needs the best of physicians to help handle this. Which brings me back to the what the youth expect and all that. I am worried about the functionality of our educational system over the years. Are we just pumping theories into the heads of people so that they can download and pass exams? That is what we've had over the years. Functionality within a societal structure, is that what we have? We need to have a rethink. I was speaking with a teacher a few days back, and he was bitterly complaining about exam malpractices. He was sounding helpless. He was seeing it. And I'm talking about the present examinations going on. All they want to do is sit there through whatever means, pass the exam, and then just move on to the next level. And then you now produce graduates that cannot function within the larger society, that cannot think outside the box, that must wait for white-collar jobs at all costs to survive. It will not take us anywhere. I sincerely hope Tinubu will not give us an Adamu as a Minister of Education. And so with the other sectors, other ministries and all that as well. But don't let me take too much of your time. We are only hanging on hope. I hope we don't come here in the next 4 years to regurgitate all that we are saying. I hope not. But I'm quite hopeful. I'm quite hopeful. What we are passing through presently, that it's at its tail end, must never be allowed to repeat itself.
Thank you, Mr. Shodimo. They say words of elders, they are words of wisdom. So we taking note, we recording words. So, it's less than 3 days to the inauguration of President elect to assume his role as the president. How will you describe his preparations, for the task of governance? Do you think he's ready to go? Do you think our president-elect is ready to go to take on that mantle of the leadership based on what you've read in the past?
Is that question to me or to Egbo?
Dr. Vicky, it's your question. Okay. You want me to go over the question again?
No. If President-elect Bola Tinubu is not ready, I will be highly disappointed in him. I look at track records. His track record said one thing, but this time around, yes, there's been lots of all sorts, but at the same time, it's still the one that is being placed there. So it's not something that just happened overnight. He's a guy that prepares. He's the guy that the issue that we've always had in Nigeria is having round pegs in square holes. But this man, for some time, for many, many years, and from his past history, we've seen him in most cases putting round pegs in round holes. And if this time around, by the time it get there and is not running from day one, it's I'll be highly disappointed. So I believe knowing him is the type that knows what he's doing, and yeah, even in businesses, when you run a business, if you don't have the right kind of people, your mind will not be at rest. You need to have those kind of people to know that, all right, whether I'm there or not, um this will, it's like a moving wheel. It's just going to be moving because I've got the right people making sure things are working, and I can relax and do what I'm doing behind the scenes. So he's that kind of a man. And I pray and I hope that he's not going to disappoint us, because we've the disappointment has just been one after the other. So I hope that he is the one that can help us out this time around.
Thank you, Dr. Vicky. So I quickly go around the panelists in 60 seconds, please. I'll start with Mr. Nwashiku. What should be the priorities of Tinubu after his swearing in to put Nigeria on the fast lane to national redemption? 60 seconds, Mr. Nwashiku. Priorities for the new government.
First of all, Wale, I will think his first major task is because there's so much division in the country now, such that I've not seen, in a very long time. So yeah, he needs to make conscious efforts to pull the people together, make everyone, have the mindset he's the president for all and not for a particular section or political party. And then, yeah, he needs to also work hard at rejuvenating the economy. I will believe a man of his experience and knowledge should already have a blueprint, to help set Nigeria on the right course. I just hope it's not going to be business as usual, as we have seen with every preceding government. When the new one comes in, you'll find out the previous one was better than what the one that came in next. As you mentioned, during Jonathan's time, it felt like we had reached the Rubicon of the worst things that could ever happen. But then came Buhari, and we saw, look, that was even a child's play. I mean, coming from foreign debt of, I'm not sure the figure now, whether it was 7 or 4 billion or so, to now what we have. Even up to the last days of this government, outgoing government, they're still borrowing monies. They were borrowing monies to finance every single thing they did, even to pay salaries. So we hope we're not going to end up in that sort of scenario. A man of Tinubu's caliber and exposure and knowledge, I believe, should be able to do better. He's done it in Lagos State, and I believe he can do it in Nigeria.
Thank you. Mr. Shudi, more priorities in 60 seconds.
I am not going to start off by saying unite the country. It's like giving them sending them on vacation. It's like asking them to do nothing. I keep hearing this thing. Your first major threat is to unite the country. For God's sake, one of the first things he's going to do, obviously, is come up with a cabinet list. That is from that point that you start uniting the country. It's that from that point that you start building the aura of believability, of credibility. Get this right set of people to get cracking and doing things. And for God's sake, leadership at this point cannot be found out. He has to do it. He has to be there. He has to be on top of the game. This idea of I have the right, so the good people in the right places, and so I can get off. I can get off and start. I mean, it won't work. Listen, Nigerians. I hope we don't drive Nigerians to that point where I saw this clip by Chelsea fans. I saw it this morning, and while they were playing against Manchester United, and the fans were singing a song. We said, listen, we lose every week, so you are not special. Humorous it was. I like the aura, I like the mood, it's love of the game, it's all for fun and all that. But Nigerians are almost at that point where they say nothing good can come from, I don't want to use the word Israel, right? So you need to show them that, wait a minute, this is it. This banding of the words is not going to be business as usual. We have had it over, and I've had it since God knows when. Show us. Show us. Seriously. It's a sick child that is taking over. Get the best physicians, and you, of course, be the expert on it. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Shodimu. Dr. Vicky, priorities for President-elect Tinubu.
I think I believe what will work, because there's so much division at the moment. There's so much disbelief in and disinterest, or whatever you want to call it. So it's success that will bring people to want to notice you, that want to see, oh, what is he doing differently? I would need to know this guy more. Success. His focus should be, all right, the security is horrible. The financial situation is beyond terrible. Education system is going down the drain. All these things have to be listed and addressed one after the other, and all hands should be on deck. Then when the success starts showing itself, it's not going to even announce itself. Let the success announce him. The unity that we want will eventually come after that. Because other people, they've done it. They failed. They failed us. But if he can just focus on why he's doing, why he's there, why he waited till this time to get there, to struggle, to do whatever, to get there, and go and focus on the job at hand. Not that, oh, they didn't vote for me, they didn't do this, they didn't do that, let's come together, let's do this. That's all wasted effort. Because no matter what he says now, nobody wants to listen to him. They feel that they've been, the thing was stolen from them, they feel this, they feel that. No, leave them for now. Focus on the job at hand. Pick them. If you want to pick all of them and just battle it through to get some work done. Out of all these issues that we are facing, if you can face at least 2 and get something done, in 12 months' time, he's got something to present. We're looking at his record and we're saying, wow, wow, wow. Then people will listen.
Wale, just a quick one. I can tell you for free that the solution to virtually all imaginable problems that we have are written down in one report or the other by one committee or the other somewhere gathering dust in this country. You don't need to reinvent the wheel. There's so much knowledge, so much input people have made in different reports about all the problems that we are facing. Get those things out, get them working up, the politics, the economy of this country, get them out.
Uniting, let's not take for granted, uniting the country is absolutely important. Otherwise, you end up in
Dr. Vicky just said it. When you ask
on the job, no, he has to start. We've mentioned
by doing what? By preaching,
having a cabinet that works. So that cabinet is the first place to start. How he goes about it will also, determine whether he's bringing the country together or further dividing the country.
That is uniting the country.
Of that cabinet is also important. You want to get credible people. You want to have the spread. given the situation we find ourselves in as a multilingual, what is it called, cultural and ethnic country. There are good people all over Nigeria that can deliver the goods. So the way
And
we
outside.
go will also
And
determine
outside.
whether and outside, will determine whether I think he's made moves with regards to having a government of national unity. What does that mean? It means bringing all capable hands on board so that they will help him also succeed. So let's not take that for granted.
I agree with you, Elvis. We are saying the same thing in different words. I just don't want it to be made a project and for the next 12 months where nothing else is done. That's the point I'm making. Act. People will unite behind you. You unite behind a good team. Be transparent. Be fair. Those are ways of doing it.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you very much. I haven't seen so much passion on this show for a very long time. So, Mr. Producer, I'm just
breaks from time to time.
Giving just so Mr. Producer, just
rejuvenate and come back with so much energy, right?
Extending the exactly. 1 hour. Yeah, so there are so many things to help you understand. So we're stealing back a bit of time we lost in the last few weeks, so especially on this very important topic. So it has been a very educative and interesting and entertaining topic, from the accidental workplace accident or injury that we started from. But I'll do a quick recap. So in terms of mixed expectations, panelists agree that what should we expect? It's just normal for people to have mixed expectations. If you had a government that came so much on promises, in 8 years, and from public opinion, it appears that it doesn't live up to that hype that the government came to power with 8 years ago. So people democratically, they have the rights to have their views, and have been mixed reactions.
Mr. Wiley Olaiton, you're breaking up.
IT issue somewhere.
Well, I think can you switch to 5G, please?
I would just my friend also. I want the Dr. Vicky to.
I don't would like that one.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Wale Olaiton. Great moderation as usual. It's a great topic that we discussed today, and I know somehow they're watching us, and because there have been few things we've talked about, things that we've suggested, that seems to be what they eventually do. So whether it's perchance or somebody is watching and reporting back to them that there's this people that come together every Friday night, Friday morning Niger time, to discuss, listen to them or hear them. These are the things that is suggested. So maybe, we don't know, but if Bola Tinubu's people are watching, we've given ideas here and there as per what we believe should happen. And that's all we can do, because we're not in Nigeria, except Egbo. All we can do is to provide ideas. When you're the one facing whatever you're facing, it's so difficult to see all the angles. So for us here, discussing all these things, we are more like spectators that sees all the angles. And yes, we are making noise. We are saying, why don't you do it this way? Because we can see everywhere. You can't. So we are doing our part. And I just pray and hope that we, on this point of incoming president, we are praying for the sake of Nigerians that we are going to get it right this time around, that this man, Bola Tinubu, will get there and will do his best. Not just his best, he will do what is good for Nigerians, all Nigerians. That's
Dr. Vic.
Yes,
just one more thing. Just one more thing. And it's in form of an appeal. And this is to Nigerians. I'll say that please, when you pray, maybe in the morning or in the evening or whatever, say a word of prayer for Mr. President.
Definitely.
Whether you voted for him or not. And
Oh,
this is the reason. This is the reason. As we speak, I know our people. His name is flying all over, different altars, different shrines, all over the place, by people seeking for appointment, seeking for contracts, seeking for favor. The name is all over. It will be all over. People will name the altar. They are there. Shrine, they are there. And this is just one man. So please just pray. I mean, it sounds odd, but that is the truth.
And that is the way it should be. And that is the way it should be. That is the way it should be.
No. If it's for altruistic reasons, it's a different thing. People are doing it. They don't care whether they are right for what they're asking for. They are using influences of whatever spirituality to affect just one man. And the same goes for governors. All over the place.
Yeah. They
know themselves. Some of them are watching.
So let's pray for him. Because when we pray for him, we're praying for ourselves. We are praying for a better environment. When we pray for him, we are praying that God uses him to turn Nigeria around, for Nigeria to be that place where we want to be, where I want to take my children and relax and go up and down and go to leisure markets and do stuff, not run away because of whatever, because of the security. So we'll keep praying, and those that didn't vote for him, to not wish him bad, to not want to bring him down at all costs, to say, yes, we told you so. All that should stop, because when we do that, we are working against ourselves. For now, we are doing our part as the panelists on this show. We will be back again next Friday. I nearly said Saturday, whereby our producer will help us out with another great topic. Hope you've had a great time with us tonight. Please just make comments. Let's hear your thoughts about all these things that we've talked about. We will be back again definitely next Friday at same time, at same place. But until then, you all take care. May God bless you.
The Nigeria we want. Great Nigeria. Giants of Africa. Nigeria we want. For the land. Great Nigeria. The Nigeria we want. We take your me for Ladi. Yeah, me show the moon.